Rogues, rascals, reviewables, rorts, rip-offs, receivers, real estate agents, and much, much more. This is the Many R's Podcast, Season 2, Episode 1. This is Mark Smith from DC Partners Solutions. If you've got any questions, give us a call anytime, 1300 327 123, or instant message chat with us at our website, dcpartners.solutions. Use the instant message chat tools in the bottom right-hand corners. Thank you. Well, hi, I'm Mark Smith from DC Partners Solutions. A little bit about me. This is Season 2, Episode 1 of the Many R's Podcast. I've actually been running this podcast since 2020, but before that I've been writing a book about Westpac and how they cheated me out of maybe $25 million. So that was a really brutal experience, but I've since gone on to have 3 beautiful children, a long and happy marriage, some many different life experiences. I've studied, I've got an MBA. I've now got from the University of Sydney a law degree, a very, very coveted law degree, called a Juris Doctor. I've been a company director here in Australia, Singapore and Thailand. Many different experiences in life. Employed lots of people, fired lots of people, run litigation, been involved in insolvencies, been involved in corporate restructures, all sorts of things. I am now living in Western Sydney. I travel throughout Australia. I live in Western Sydney and spend some of my time here in a beautiful property on Mount Canobolas at Orange, or just near Orange in country New South Wales. I'm a blogger. I've never been sued for defamation, so that's rather interesting. But I've studied law. I'm familiar with the laws here in Australia, New Zealand and Singapore. And I will fund litigation for the right projects. I'm involved in companies with credit licenses and what's called AFSLs, Australian Financial Services licenses. I've done some property development. I've done extensive consulting. As I said, I've had 3 children. They're all adults now. Some have gone through uni, lots of life experiences. So I'm here to help, here to listen. I'm here to help. I'm available most days until late on 1300 327 123, or you can instant chat with me. Some of the time, not all the time. I do clock off occasionally, but you can instant chat with us at dcpartners.solutions/podcast. So in this podcast, we look at a whole bunch of R's. Rogues, rascals, rorts, rip-offs, reviewables. They're what we call those that we've got an open mind about, whether we're decided that they're, rorters or rip-off artists, or maybe we're unsure. So we look at a whole bunch of other categories. Real estate agents, as I said, miscellaneous other bad guys in society, travel rip-offs, government malfeasance, iffy lawyers, insurance racketeers, bankers, especially the Westpac ones, and receivers, liquidators, administrators, and all sorts of others that come to our attention. Well, we now turn to real estate agents and developers, and I'm not sure if this guy is in the category, but he's an R, that's for sure. His name's Raymond John Gulliver, and he was some sort of real estate advisor. He worked alongside another real estate agent called David Verica and another R, Robert Miles. He's also a lawyer, and Raymond held out that he was a partner in a company called Peg Capital, operated by 2 fellas, Andrew Smith, absolutely no relation, and Hugo Draymeyer. I think that's how we pronounce it. And it's a partnership, apparently. But when you look a little closer, is it? So we've set up this website on the illustrious Mr. Raymond John Gulliver. You can find, if you're looking for Raymond, he's at 39 Wangala Road, Riverview, and he lives there with his lovely wife, Jennifer Gulliver, a very, very successful woman. The house is 100% in Jennifer's name. So I don't know what Raymond's contribution is there, but that's where we found him a number of times when we had to serve him. So on our website, you can Google Raymond John Gulliver, DC Partners, and you'll find our website. Raymond was bankrupted, declared insolvent, bankrupted on the 1st of February this year, and to date, I understand he has not complied with any of the applications or any of the obligations to provide income statements or assets, liabilities, and so who knows what he's got to hide. Here's some happy snaps of Raymond. We'll just go through a few. This is a photo of Raymond in Cambodia, I think it is, maybe Vietnam, and Raymond is here, and next to him is a chap called, which we'll come to, another big fellow, and then we've got some officials from the countries of Cambodia and Vietnam and others. And there they are, the PEG partners, looking very trustworthy. Wouldn't hurt a flea. Ray gave out these business cards, Private Equity Gateway, PEG Gateway, Private Equity Gateway. If you do a search now, apparently their head office is in Malta, but back in the day, they were an Australian company with offices in Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Hong Kong. Hong Kong presumably was Raymond's office, and Raymond once upon a time worked for News Corporation. Loved to go to the horses in Hong Kong, and apparently very unsuccessful punter. Ran a company called Jagbo Proprietary Limited, but gave out business cards saying he was a partner of PEG, and no doubt PEG knew this and held him out that he was their partner, and PEG being a partnership. There's his mate, David Verica, a real estate agent, besties, absolute besties, these guys. David Verica, that's a name you may have heard. David, once upon a time, was a very good tennis player, professional tennis player, I understand. And if you've heard of the name McGurk, then you may have read this. Verica's father was having coffee or whatever. Now, there's no suggestion that he was involved, but he was having coffee with Mr. McGurk on the day of his death. Very unfortunate that. And Mr. McGurk was friends with Mr. Medic. Adam Tilley, there's a name we haven't heard for a little while. And Mr. Verica, apparently, having started with hopes of 14 million, Mr. Verica sold a residence of Mr. Tilley's to pay back loans to Mr. Medic. Mr. Tilley's home was apparently firebombed. Very, very strange. So his father, Richie Verica. Now, I have a feeling Kate McClymont may have written about Mr. Richie Verica, former hotelier. Had lunch with Mr. McGurk on the day he was shot. So that's all very coincidental. Anyway, we've got David Verica and Raymond Gulliver, besties. So there's David Verica's number. Oh, Jennifer. So that's Mrs. Gulliver. Mrs. Gulliver. I think Mrs. Gulliver may well be a very big, successful marketing executive. Was it Qantas? May well be at Rebel Sports or somewhere like that now. This was a Mr. Zeman that Raymond and Mr. Verica, David Verica, was suing for, I don't know, $10 million, something like that, for unpaid commissions. They were entirely unsuccessful, but they managed to pay some money into the court in Hong Kong. They were suing this Mr. Zeman for, many, many millions of dollars. So there's our David Verica, and we're back to the start. What other documents have we got here? Let's just have a look. Yes. So back in the day, Raymond managed to hoodwink one of his clients, where he worked, one of PEG's clients, I should say. PEG's client was Red Earth Ventures Proprietary Limited, and one of these unhappy campers here in this photo was ripped off, and apparently the sum of $327,973 was allegedly appropriated into a bank account for Raymond, John and Jennifer Gulliver. That's very nice. $327,973 of a client's money, of PEG's client's money, goes into Raymond and Jennifer's Gulliver's bank account. Although that's what the letter says. It turns out the bank account does not belong to Raymond and Jennifer. So Raymond isn't. The account's not in Raymond's name. So whether it's in Jennifer's name or someone else's name, time will tell. But this, I'm merely reporting that this letter, dated the 3rd of June 2011, states that $327,973 of Red Earth Ventures money is going into PEG's partner, Mr. Gulliver, and his wife's bank account. Now, I say absolutely. To the best of my knowledge, that account is not held by Raymond and Jennifer. So it could be that it's held by neither Raymond nor Jennifer. It's certainly a mystery who belongs to it, but $327,973 was apparently moved from Stojanovich's trust account at the direction of Raymond Gulliver of PEG Partners to an account which he said was his and his wife's. And that was the last of the Red Earth Ventures $327,000. So what I can say is that what I can say is that PEG and its chairman, Albert Chung, I'll give you the exact spelling of that. He's a Malaysian or Singaporean man, very distinguished, very impressive CV. We'll put up some of his CVs. Mr. Chung and Andrew Smith just want nothing to do with this. They want nothing more to do with their former partner, Raymond Gulliver. They say that he was never a partner, despite him having business cards, and despite there being plenty of letters going out saying that he was their partner. So let's have a look at some of those letters. So this is a company profile. PEG Premium, Private Equity Gateway Group. It's a partnership, apparently. And PEG Corporate, now there's no mention of Malta here. It's just that they're a very impressive consultancy and advisory company in real estate, apparently, doing all sorts of work for Lewis Land. These are very impressive marina owners, Meridian Marinas, raising $200 million. All sorts of big companies, and they're very impressive. And then they send out Raymond, and they say that he's their partner. And these are past transactions. All Chinese investors PEG acts for. Wow, that sounds impressive. So if you're a Cambodian or Vietnamese, and look at all these people that PEG say that they're dealing with. Sale of 300 lot subdivision at Moray Field, 84 townhouses, $24 million apartment at Ephraim Island. Now that's on the Gold Coast somewhere. Marinas, sale of Hong Kong's blue chip commercial buildings, sale of one of Macau's most prestigious casino land holdings, setting a record price. I wonder if that's the one for Mr. Zeman, and I wonder if David Verica and Raymond were involved in that one. That certainly sort of sounds very familiar. And this is to the best of our knowledge, this looks very, very much like an official PEG document, company profile. It certainly persuaded the Vietnamese and Cambodians to part with $327,000 into Raymond and Jennifer's personal bank account, or so they thought, at the direction of their partner, their advisors, PEG Premium, Private Equity Gateway. So when they have such an impressive track record, it's unsurprising that people would trust them. PEG Agri currently is mandated for over $500 million of AUD transactions. PEG Resources, PEG Energy, Andrew Smith, he's a businessman, entrepreneur and philanthropist. Andrew, so this is as at 2012. Now Albert Chung is now the chairman, but Andrew Smith is still involved, and Hugo, I hope I've pronounced that correct, Draymeyer, both entrepreneurs, huge and diverse investment portfolios. How wonderful. So what an impressive company. No mention about Malta. Certainly, well, actually there's no mention about Brisbane even, but certainly mention about the Hong Kong office. Now, Tim Holmes, that's the chap in the photo with the happy Vietnamese Cambodian officials. Former director of Savills, PRD Colliers. Tim was instrumental in managing sales in excess of $1.5 billion in the last 7 years, beginning his career at PRD. So, wow, what an impressive person. Executive partner, Raymond Gulliver. It's just hard to imagine that this document wasn't handed out to Tim Holmes and Raymond Gulliver and their clients. And Tim Holmes must have known that he was the CEO of PEG Premium, CEO. So, whereas Raymond was the partner, executive partner. And, wow, what a career. So, PEG Associated Delivery Partners, and here they all are. So, Minter Ellison, Queensland Law Group, Law Associates, Lewis Land. It's just the who's who. So there we are. Oh, Brisbane, there we are. So direct contacts. So Raymond hands this document to his Vietnamese and Cambodian clients, tells them that he's a partner, and look, there's the names of the business owners, Andrew Smith, Hugo Draymeyer, the CEO, Tim Holmes. They're all there. And let's just have a quick look at this company search. So Private Equity Gateway Proprietary Limited, that's PEG. Registered in 2007. So it certainly had the correct name. It was incorporated at the very relevant time. And there's the officials, the company officers. Andrew John Smith, absolutely no relation. Lawson Road, Draper, Queensland. And Hugo Edgar Draymeyer, born in South Africa. And they're both the directors and secretaries. And you can see that, the shareholders. Donna and Tim Holmes, they're in there for a few shares. Then you've got PEG One. So PEG One is the company owned by Hugo and Andrew. So that's a little bit of a appetizer for some of the people involved. Raymond Gulliver, David Verica, the tennis great, the vendor's agent for Adam Tilley, Robert Miles, their lawyer, Peg Capital, Andrew Smith. Now, we're just going to go and have a look at a very interesting bloke called Stuart Jones, and he's an agent of some 35 years' experience. Unfortunately, he has fallen onto hard times and had to sell his entire business, his real estate business over in Perth, to his daughter. So who better to sell it to? And well, he sold the house to her. That's Jade Jones. They sold the house to her as well, and Geraldine participated in the sale to their daughter. She looks very young. I don't know where she got the money from, but she certainly doesn't look old. She certainly doesn't look like she's got 35 years of experience. So maybe Stuart and Geraldine had Jade at a very young age. So let's have a look at Stuart. So he's running he's got 35 years of real estate experience, but it doesn't mention here that he's accomplished sales professional, enthusiastic service, the team of experienced sales executives setting record prices, but it doesn't mention here that he's insolvent. Very, very unfortunate, but very unfortunate. Poor Stuart. Poor Stuart's had to he's had to file a debtor's petition and ask the court to protect him in bankruptcy. So anyway, maybe Jade and Geraldine and Stuart can update their website. Now, it doesn't mention here, but Geraldine is also apparently facing insolvency. Highly experienced estate agent, entering the industry in 1982, but I can't see anything about insolvency for her there either. So, that's having worked in the local industry since 2001, Geraldine has forged some long-term relationships. So a tricky use of words. Anyway, Geraldine, she looks like a lovely lady there. She won't return any of my calls, unfortunately. So, she's, wanting to avoid some of her obligations. So if you happen to see Geraldine, could you ask her to give me a call? That'd be lovely. Thank you. The next one, the next of our real estate people to profile, is a guy called Benjamin Todd Daniels. Very interesting chap. He's runs a company now. Until recently, they did actually have a 1300 number. If you can get this, if you can get Ben to answer this phone, you're doing incredibly well. Ben doesn't want to talk to me either. So if you could get Ben to, if you happen to be speaking to Ben, I'd love for him to give me a call. It seemed that their 1300 number for Group Buyer had to get cut off. So maybe that's no good. Now Group Buyer, it is interesting. Group Buyer is owned by not just Benjamin Todd Daniel. Benjamin Todd Daniels from Burraway Road, Wentworth Point, but there are some other owners there. Dr. Peter Vickers Proprietary Limited of Albury and Luke Paul Hayes. So it seems that Dr. Peter Vickers and Luke Paul Hayes of Unit 3, 3 Tower Street, Manly, have some sort of investment, 48%, something like that, in this company called Group Buyer. So it's the power of people. And Benjamin Todd Daniel owns the rest of them. So it suggests that there's a paid up sum here of about $21,000. So that's very, very interesting. So Group Buyer can't pay its 1300 number to keep the phones on, and it owes one of my clients some money as well. So we'd be quite keen to talk to Stuart, Geraldine and Benjamin Todd Daniels. If you happen to see any of them, would you ask them to give us a call? Lawyers. Now, I'm not going to say a great deal about this man, but his name's Tim Horn. He once was a very good friend of mine. So I thought. There's some photos that I'm just going to put up here of Tim. We had many coffee together. Tim was someone that I trusted, and he worked at Aqualaw for his brother back in happier days. His brother's a decent guy. He really is. His brother's name is Ben Horn. And anyway, Tim and Ben had a falling out, and they've gone separate ways. They don't talk, apparently. And apparently Tim's forgotten that he ever was my lawyer for those 2 years. And Tim, my argument with him is that he's now acting against me, advising clients against me. So that might cause some ethical problems. If you're a client of Tim's, you might like to get a letter confirming that you're a client of Tim's, and just not dispose of that letter. The Where Are They Now section. Well, we're just going to give you some links to one of our favourite people. A couple of our favourite people, Bernard and Fiona Hall and their company Carnarvon Cherry. Now, we've been following them for quite some time, and Carnarvon Cherry and their related company, Carnarvon Canobolas Proprietary Limited, which is in liquidation. It was very, very unsuccessful, and the judge awarded quite a large sum against Bernard and Fiona and their company Carnarvon Cherry. Now, it is apparently being appealed, so watch this space. But for those that might be interested, we include a link down below to the judgment in the case that was brought by the brother of Bernard and Fiona and Carnarvon Canobolas, and they were all business partners. So if you are interested in reading that judgment, we'll provide a link down below. Well, followers of the Many R's podcast would be very familiar with the name Greg Walker and MacArthur Projects. They would be familiar with his companies, the Archbold up in Gosford, and another notorious company called 131 MVR, which stands for 131 Monavale Road. That's a development project up at St Ives. There were some very, very unkind things said about that particular project by Fair Trading New South Wales. And, Greg Walker, MacArthur Projects, and Archbold have fallen on difficult times, and the Archbold project was apparently sold for around $32 million, we're told, which is apparently quite a good price. But that's no longer proceeding under Greg Walker's stewardship, nor MacArthur Projects, and sadly, very, very sadly, MacArthur Projects is in liquidation as well. So didn't pay its head contractors up there or whoever the contractor was up there in Gosford, and so that's a very difficult time. Ralph, all we're going to say about Ralph is that apparently Ralph is no longer in Melbourne. He's no longer at his mum and dad's place, and he's spreading his wings all across Sydney and has opened up a wonderful little business called Asquith Spice. Now, I'll give you the address for Asquith Spice. Might be looking for Ralph. They may be able to find him at 377 Pacific Highway, Asquith. And apparently he's got absolutely nothing to do with this company called Genesis Pacific Enterprises Proprietary Limited, which is owned, apparently it's very heavily connected to the bottle shop there. And if you can't find Ralph at Asquith Spices, you may well find him at the bottle shop there. It's about 372 Pacific Highway, Asquith. So I'm told Ralph has got nothing to do with that company, although it's Ralph and his son are apparently working there. So if you're looking for Ralph, send him my love. He's a lovely guy, and I wish him all the best at Asquith Spices. And should Ralph go into business setting up other spice shops around Sydney, I wish him all the best with those as well. Fictional characters. Well, what can I say? It's fictional characters. What can I say? Look, I've been urged. I've had quite a lot go on this year. It's now the 22nd of August. I've had quite a lot go on this year, and well, look, I'll talk about it perhaps in another episode, but I have been encouraged by a number of people to tell more and to tell more stories. And my line of work has involved meeting some very interesting people, let's put it that way. And but there's also some obligations of fidelity that need to be respected, but also it would be somewhat crazy to go and talk very, very frankly about some of the things that I know and that have happened. And so I'm just very careful. I get quite a lot of letters from different people and messages from people, and I sometimes even get the odd demand from lawyers. And some of the people that I've written about have been far less than happy about some of the things that have been written about them. So one of the ways to tell some stories, maybe based on real events, maybe not. I just need to leave a little bit of mystery there. That I'm certainly giving some serious thought to telling some stories about some characters that could or could not be based on real people that I know or have met or whatever. So look, in coming episodes, we might start to develop some of these stories as well throughout season 2 and season 3 and season 4 and so on of this podcast. So you watch this space. Thank you. All right, well, we're now moving on to the centerfold of the DCP Solutions website, and how many R's? This is our current centerfold, and it's a guy called Steve G. Papermaster. And Steve G. Papermaster and his company, Nano Global, Nano Vision, Nano, whatever you want to call it, Nano anything. So who is Steve Papermaster? Well, he's not even an Australian, but this guy has come to our attention, and well, we're going to ask, who is Steve Papermaster? It's a very, very good question, and perhaps there is two Stephen Papermasters. It's the Steve that Steve spins, but there's also what others say, and this guy came to our attention. I don't know whether to say through a fictional character or someone else, but someone that we've come across ended up being a victim. Let's just say a victim of this Steve Papermaster and his investment scheme. And well, let's see what others say about Steve Papermaster, and then we'll first look at what Steve says. And so let's play this.
I think it's what we need in vaccine development. Papermaster was senior advisor to President George W. Bush and a core architect of domestic and global strategy for innovation, technology, and science, including pushing forward the Human Genome Project. He was a member and chair of PCAST, the President's Council of Advisors for Science and Technology, for 16 years, from 2001 to 2017. Steve Papermaster is a career technology entrepreneur who has a lot of insights into what it will take to beat COVID-19, and I'm very, very pleased he's here with us today. Steve, thanks so much for joining us.
How impressive. Steve is a guy that knows how to beat COVID-19. My God, where do we sign up? That's now, who do you reckon wrote that spin? Do you think the journalist wrote that, or do you think Steve provided a list of talking points? This is who I am. Read this, will you? And wow. Now, what do other people say about Steve? People that have actually met him and done business with him. What do they think? Well, let's have a look at a few of these. Well, let's have a look at Mozito Inc. And Steve Papermaster. And this is from a court case, a real court case, and filed a few years ago. And this is what the defendant says. Now, I'm sure there's always two sides to the story, but the defendants say Steve's not some genius that worked in the White House and all of this. And by the way, the people that I know that have claimed to be a victim of Steve's, they don't see him as a genius that worked in the White House either. But let's just see what this says. So the defendants, led by Papermaster, promised to provide Mozito, a leading global payments platform, with substantial opportunities to expand in the China market. However, that promise turned out to be part of an intricate fraud that defendants perpetrated in order to swindle Mozito out of millions. To lure Mozito into their trap, the defendants touted, and it goes on and on and on and on. Okay, so that's one disgruntled party, and that's a few years ago. Let's now have a look at the trustee. That's what we call a liquidator here in Australia. Steve Papermaster and other executives squandered assets. Now, this is going back a few years ago. 6 of Agilion's former top executives have been sued by a bankruptcy trustee for the legendary spending sprees that bankrupted one of the most well-financed and well-known high-tech startups in Austin. Whoa! So that's a little bit different. The person's charged with... This article talks about how Agilion, Steve's company, burned through $60 million in less than 3 years. Now, you've got to admit, there's talent there. Wow. So, I just love this article. I think it's incredible. And this is another side to Steve, so that you don't hear of when you're given the talking points. Agilion, they had about $100 in the bank. 15 months before, they had $30 million in the bank. So, and for all of that money that they've spent, they had a few dozen subscribers. This is legendary. And I think you've got to go to the White House for this sort of legendary stuff. So, they bought ads in the Super Bowl. They spent $500,000 taking their staff on a little trip, on a pep talk. A team bonding session, dare I say. They took a 10-year lease on a building for $13 million. They opened an office in Australia when they had like 13 customers back in the United States. On a Super Bowl night back a few years ago, they threw one hell of a good party. 168 bottles of wine at a restaurant. Whoa. And we're going to have a look at... this is a guy... Wow, I just don't know what to say. This is very, very impressive. So let's have a look at some of his enablers. To get away with doing some of these things, you really need a team. This is, this couldn't possibly be a solo effort. And this guy is, he's great. So these are some of the names that have helped him. And we're going to have a look at, over this particular season, we're going to have a look at some of the people that have enabled this guy to get away with some of the stuff. And I'm going to show you a video in a moment. And it is so special. It is so special. But he's been helped if that's the word. He's been helped by bankers and funds managers and all sorts of people. But Ernst & Young, they probably take the absolute cake. So so these are some, if you want to know a little bit more, just Google Stephen Papermaster or Steve Papermaster enablers, and you'll get to see some of these enablers. The CEO of a company called Leone Hill Capital, that's Aaron Cant. He's been helped by the Gordian Group. Now, they've been fantastic. There's a whole bunch of beautiful photos in here. Peter Kaufman, he's the CEO or president or something of the Gordian Group. Oh, no, I don't think he is the president. That's a guy called Fred Zeidman, who's king of the Jewish lobby in the United States, and good mates with George W. Bush, and was on the fundraising committees and blah, 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 blah. So, Angela Plaisted of Ernst & Young. There's a cast of thousands at Ernst & Young. This is Fred Zeidman, Andrew Jordan. Now, the main, well, I'm not sure if it's the main, but it's certainly one of the key pieces of enablement, if you like. And I mean, that's an interesting word, but Steve has even got onto super yachts in Monaco and places like that as a guest of Ernst & Young. As a guest of Ernst & Young, they trot him out and they say, "Wow, this guy's a legend." I don't think they say anything about how he blew $30 million and run companies into the ground, elaborate frauds or intricate frauds. I don't think there's much about that in the spiel, in the Ernst & Young spiel. But my God, these are some of the people that enable him. Stacia Mitchell, Ernst & Young, Alison Kay. They run this thing called the Ernst & Young. I love Ernst & Young. I mean, I've had things to do with them. I think they're a reputable firm. And for them to be absolutely blind to who this guy is, they actually put him on the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year judging panel. Wow. And they say, well, this is the guy to follow. Wendy Fox. There's some profiles here of some of the people that have helped him out. Now, we're going to have a look at some more documents and what can I say? But I think before that, I think we need to have a look at this video. And I mean, I've only got a law degree and an MBA. All right, I must be a complete idiot because I have no idea what the hell this guy's talking about. Let's have a look at this. This is the Steve Papermaster COVID spiel, and where if you can work out what the hell he's promising that he's got, and well, let's just have a look now. I've got to show you this email. This is an email that he's written to one of the victims in April 2020. Now, that's right at the start of COVID. Dear blank. Now, I won't say, I have actually changed this. I've pulled out the to section, I pulled out the date and the time. So I suspect he's probably sent this to all of his victims. But dear blank, I look forward to talking to you soon. I wanted to get you a summary of the core nano products which are scaling up in the market for treatment and prevention of COVID-19. Coronavirus. Treatment. This guy claims he's got a treatment for COVID-19. Now, Pfizer? Is this AstraZeneca? No. This is a company called you've never heard of. Anyway, a treatment for COVID-19. Oh my God! I mean, and this is sent by Steve. Now, if this is bullcrap, just go ahead and sue us, okay? Because this is the sort of crap that he sends out. We are close. Now, Leone Hill. Here's another email. We are close. Now, this is in January 20. We are closing an important license. Small acquisition. Oh, we are closing. We are closing and will close the preferred equity round with Leone Hill and other investors. So did Leone Hill invest a nickel? No, Leone Hill didn't. Aaron Cant got heaps of other people to invest money, but didn't invest a single cent themselves. Other investors? Not sure. We are closing an important license. So did they? No. So I think we should have a look at this investor document. Now, this is an investor document that they sent out to some actual suckers that did invest. And they say, well, Nano, here's the CEO. And it tells us about this acquisition and that Henry, poor bastard, I can't pronounce his surname, Henry Legia. My apologies to you, Henry, if that's not how you pronounce it. $300 million post-money valuation target, $55 million institutional investors, and up to $25 million to select Reliant and Nano family office friends. Family and friends, the family and friends round. Now, it says here that Leone Hill and Mark Cuban and others, they're all investing. Really? So did they invest? No. Use of proceeds. Well, we're going to buy. There's the integration of Reliant, and Henry Legia he's our president. He's going to be the president. Now, did they? No. And, I'm actually told that this absolutely went nowhere near. Like, there wasn't even talks. There was nothing serious. So they claim that they're going to be the leader in global in-app health and wellness. So let's, without any further ado, let's go and have a listen to Steve's own words about his COVID cure. Well, Steve Papermaster, let's hear from the horse's mouth, so to speak. And I'm going to give you a commentary as we're going through and trying to decipher some of this crap that's spewing out of his mouth. So let's, without any further ado, let's have a listen and see if we can figure out what the heck he's talking about.
Our vision for Nano has been simple but powerful from day one. Nano is here to heal and shield the world. Our vision.
Heal and shield the world. And this is 1 year ago. So this is, he's talking about COVID. Aim high, Steve.
Is to be able to have an immunity platform for the world that allows us to detect, protect, and predict pathogen-led outbreaks all the way up through pandemics.
So Steve's going to predict pandemics and pathogen outbreaks. This thing cannot move without his knowing, right? And he's going to protect the world and heal it.
To develop the technologies from drug development, vaccine level, through preventative technology.
So he's developing the technology through vaccine level. Now, I've never heard of the nano vaccine for COVID-19, but stay tuned.
And on through digital and data to be able to develop real-time effective cures and
effective cures in real time. In real time, he's got the technology in real time to produce effective cures.
Effective treatments. People's lives are at stake literally by the nanosecond, more than ever in the world today. It's a real tragedy, a human tragedy of enormous scale and societal impact with COVID-19. And it won't be the last one. And so...
Oh, so he knows about the future ones as well. Okay, so what's coming next after COVID-19? Okay, beautiful.
So we want to do our part to accelerate, take the benefits of our innovations in technology from the vaccines onto the surrounding...
So we're going to take the benefits of their vaccines and apply it and make squillions, okay? We want to invest in this.
Areas of technology and get it to billions of people.
Oh, and he's going to spread it out to billions of people. So forget about Pfizer, Novavax, AstraZeneca, Nano. Right.
All over the world as fast as we possibly can. In the development of our nano cures, which
he's got his nano cures. So some sort of microscopic cure that he's got it all figured out.
Includes vaccines and therapeutics. We are taking the specific vaccine candidates that were in development prior to the COVID-19 outbreak and refining it for COVID-19.
So he's got these cures that were from before COVID-19 and he's going to refine them and apply it to COVID-19.
We have clinical trials that are in process now.
Clinical trials. Okay, that's why we haven't heard. They're in clinical trials.
And seeking fast-track regulatory approval, FDA and FDA equivalent.
Oh, okay, so it's the government's fault. Okay, righto. Because they're seeking fast-tracking.
Globally, get that delivered to people and into market as quickly as we can in the late second quarter or early third quarter. And that is very, very fast, especially for this type of
Now look at this cure. It's just racing across the globe.
Vaccine, which is an extremely stable, very low-cost vaccine.
An extremely stable vaccine, low cost. Now, in a minute, he's going to tell us that you can just stick it in the fridge.
Not require ultra high levels of cold chain storage like mRNA vaccines need.
So this is better than all that crap, all that Pfizer stuff. It's much better.
You can keep it at what is normal refrigerated temperatures.
This fucker's actually keeping a straight face. I think he actually believes all this stuff.
In order to deliver that vaccine, which is critical in many parts of the world that do not have the sophisticated levels of it.
Oh, okay. So he's talking about the developing world here, where where there isn't cold chain logistics. Well, he's going to spread his cure around, billions of people. Wow, we want to invest in this company.
Infrastructure available. The other big areas that we are developing are different delivery mechanisms, so that you can take a vaccine that we've developed and use it as a spray on your skin.
Oh, you just spray it on. I wonder if this is like those erectile things. You just sniff it or something, and you're cured from COVID.
Or a patch on your skin, or nasal spray, or an oral vaccine. And after that, of course, we've got in development in parallel a universal pan-coronavirus vaccine that is intended to provide immunity for any future forms of coronavirus-based organisms.
A pan-corona vaccine that's going to wipe out everything. So anything that comes, all the next variants and all of that, he's already got it solved.
From pathogens, as well as potential mutations from COVID-19.
Oh, okay. So all the deltas, the omicrons, and all of that, he's got it all figured out.
NanoPure is a technology that is specifically engineered to give
So this is a soap company?
us very safe, effective compounds that we can apply as a fierce antimicrobial, antiviral that can attach to our skin and surfaces that will attract and destroy on contact dangerous pathogens.
So it's going to attract the virus and then destroy on contact. Like some sort of scary laser. This is Star Wars or something.
I sometimes refer to
You can see the bacteria coming. Wow.
it as sunblock or sunscreen for germs. It means that somewhere between hours and 24 hours on your skin, and on general surfaces that can be weeks, months, or even longer until
Longer than months. So you just got to spray this on some surface and wow, it's just action. So this is the ultimate protection racket. Wow.
that effective mechanism
And lasts for even longer than months. On your skin and on surfaces.
is disrupted. We are all exposed all the time if we have any semblance of normal life. The ability to cut the transmission, the contagion, in many cases by 90+%. That
In many cases by 90%. 90+%. So you pay your money to Steve and snake oil. Bang, this is like the magic snake oil.
that level of prevention is on par with the profound impact of having widespread vaccine technology. NanoSense is a piece of our platform
Oh, here we go. So this is his technology.
that we have architected to essentially be the operating system, if you will, of molecular level data. What we're breathing, what we're touching, those things that
Wow. I love it.
we come in contact to on our exterior body or into our lungs, and synthesize the data, analyze the data through our sensors.
So he's got some magic piece of plastic that you plug it in, you pay your license fee, and it just tells what pathogens are in the air or whatever, and does it send out an alarm? Does it send out an SMS? Who knows? Let's keep watching.
Using our NanoSense technology, we can actually see from a standpoint of analyzing, is there the presence of or the likely presence of certain germs, certain pathogens like COVID-19 or others that are or could be dangerous. We're still early on in the development.
Oh, so it's not just limited to COVID. It's the other more dangerous things. Wow. And I mean, the mind just boggles.
We will be rolling out in product forms rapidly over the next 1 to 2 years. Time is of the essence. In just the next 4 to 8 quarters, we expect to be active really in every region of the world. We'll have
Wow. Every region of the world is going to be active with this guy's technology.
a manufacturing capability. We'll have regional delivery just in the course of the next 12 to 24 months. We will have our presence.
Oh, okay. So they're going to send their packages out through South Africa and onto Indonesia and Australia. Wow. And they're also going to get there. So they're going to send stuff through the Democratic Republic of Congo, then send it over to Nairobi and then onto India or Pakistan or somewhere. And they'll be sending something through Libya from somewhere over here. So where's that? Who knows? Memphis, I'd say. Send it through Libya and then onto China. Okay, well, that sounds pretty good. And from Memphis through to, that looks like the south of France. So they've got some hub in the south of France and then onto Kazakhstan. That looks good. Let's keep going. But they're sending it from Mexico to, where is that? Is that Chile?
Felt in most major regions of the world, directly and with partners. You can never have too many fantastic partners when you're trying to.
Partners. We're going to have a partnership. So that's perhaps how our guys got involved and lost money with this guy.
Bring this kind of technology and this type of care to the world.
So he's bringing this type of technology and care to the entire world. So let's just contemplate that for a second. So that's something to whet the appetite for the rest of season 2. We're going to have a look at this guy, Steve Papermaster and Nano, and his White House exploits and more. So let's have a look at that throughout the rest of the season. I will let you in on the secret, though, the ending. I'm going to spoil the surprise. Nano is kaput, the company that took, I don't know, 20, 30, $50 million from investors. The cure for all this wonderful technology is just all bullcrap, and it's just all ended up in the toilet. There was no merger, there was no technology, there was no license, there was no fundraising by Mark Cuban and Aaron Kant and Leone Hill Capital. Just all absolute bullcrap. So, and who can forget Ernst & Young and the Entrepreneur of the Year? Now, I mean, this is Entrepreneur of the Year stuff. This is Entrepreneur of the Century stuff by Mr. Papermaster. Yet Steve is still on the illustrious panel of judges for the Entrepreneur of the Year. So who was the genius at Ernst & Young that thought, wow, we've got to keep this guy on the judging panel? And if you Google Steve Papermaster, about the third thing that comes up is the Entrepreneur of the Year. Now, Steve just absolutely spins this to the max, and so he's on a great deal. And who knows what sort of kickbacks or whatever, maybe that's the wrong word, engagements. Who knows what sort of engagements that Ernst & Young get out of these nano companies. And I dare say that funds from investors have plenty of funds have ended up in the coffers of Ernst & Young, and maybe I'd love to know which new marble foyer is being built now with Steve Papermaster money in which office of Ernst & Young. I'd love to know. So watch this space. So look, in closing, we've got an exciting season 2 in front of us. We've got a little bit happening in the real estate space. We've even got leasing activity with our mate Ralph Palgaru. So we're going to be watching Asquith Spices and see as he rolls out that strategy right across Sydney. We've got miscellaneous others. We're going to follow Jetstar and see what other complaints come in. We'll be monitoring some in the legal sector. We haven't got any insurance racketeers just yet, but we're always open. We may well write some things about our bankers in the fictional department, so that we can be a little bit more explicit, but tap into our creative touch and our creative that creative space and get the story out. We won't necessarily get sued by any of the people involved, so that'd be very nice. And we'll see what develops with receivers and liquidators. Now, we've got Stuart Jones from Perth Property Group and his daughter Jade and his wife Geraldine. So we'll see what happens there. Steve's got a wonderful trustee in bankruptcy, and we'll be following others, no doubt, into that space. And of course, when we say others, well, we're talking about Steve Papermaster, our centrefold. We'll be following Raymond Gulliver, the real estate expert. There's lots and lots and lots to discuss there with Raymond Gulliver. We may even find out who owns the bank account that was swollen with $327,000 of loot, and it wasn't Raymond and Jennifer. We know that we know that they're not the owners of that account, but we don't know who is. So all apologies, Jennifer, completely innocent. We may even see Raymond's statement of affairs since he's in bankruptcy, so that's very interesting. But we're coming back to Stephen Papermaster now. There's lots and lots of stuff there, and we're going to talk about how Ernst & Young are wonderful enablers, how the Gordian Group, Fred Zeidman and others just look the other way when it comes to losing 30 million or 50 million. They're there for Steve. They're there for Steve, and in his hour of need, the COVID cure, you never know. You never know. You might even see something about the nano COVID cure. So that's an exciting season 2 coming our way. We might even touch on Greg Walker and see where he's up to. We didn't really get to talk about MacArthur Group, MacArthur Properties, MacArthur Projects, dare I say, and where's 131 MVR up to. So there's so much to go through in the rest of season 2, and we've got many, many surprises, particularly in the fictional storytelling department. We've got some characters that, they may be, they may resemble people that you've heard about. There may be facts and bits and pieces of the story that unravel throughout the rest of season 2. So that's something to whet the appetite for. I hope you will. If you've got any questions, do give us a call, 1300 327 123. My name's Mark Smith, or jump online, dcpartners.solutions/podcast, and instant chat with us any time of the day or night, whether that's American time. Hey, we love tip-offs. So if you know any of these people that are involved and you've got documents or any information that you'd like to share with us, jump on the instant chat tools and you can send us documents, send us bits and pieces. There's a tip-off form about Stephen Papermaster. Just Google Stephen Papermaster enablers. And if you want to tell us about some of his enablers, some of the things that Ernst & Young get up to on his behalf, we'd be only too happy to know more and share that with our viewers. So that's it. Signing off, Mark Smith, dcpartners.solutions/podcast. Instant chat with us or call us until late, most nights, 1300 327 123. Thanks very much. Bye.